innings, 8 hits and an error for the Dodgers, 3-9-2 for Oakland. A somewhat remarkable game.
It is. The Dodgers knew they had to make some runs, and they just did that, Ben. They made the runs.
We'd like to remind you, remember, coming up following your local news, it's The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson, then Late Night with David Letterman, and later with Bob Costas. A full night of entertainment coming up on NBC. Tomorrow night, Oral Hershiser will try to win it, and Jose Canseco will try to come back from a big moment that got away, the 9th inning tonight especially.
And it'll be tough against Hershiser, but I can't help but look at my scorecard and look in that first inning when he hit and run with Hatcher, first and third, and then in the 7th inning when he had Sachs running, because if they get that play, Ben, it could be an entirely different ball game. He had to gamble, and he won.
History. Trying to nail it down. They hand the ball to Oral Hershiser, who has been all but superhuman of late. Shutouts in 7 of his last 10 starts, including blankings of the Mets to win the pennant and of the A's to win Game 2 of the series. The Dodger hope for tonight, Hershiser and Champagne. 49,000 here, hoping the A's can stave off elimination. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Costas. Their backs are to the wall, but it's been done before. Kansas City was down 3-1 against the Cardinals in '85. They came back to win. Dave Parker is over there on the Oakland bench, remembering his 1979 Pirates. Trailing 3-1 against a very good Oriole team, they managed to win the World Series. But if Oakland is to do it, they've got to beat Hershiser tonight, then win the last 2 at Dodger Stadium. Hershiser has been incredible, but is he invincible? Not necessarily, says Tony La Russa, as he told Marv Albert.
I think we're going to give Hershiser fits tonight because our guys, we need it. You know, we're in what you call, those must-win situations. But, they've seen him once. He's definitely capable of shutting you down. If he makes great pitches, it's tough to make contact.
Are you embarrassed by what has taken place?
It's a good question, Marv. I just talked to the club about that. No, I'm not embarrassed. You know what embarrasses me? Lack of effort. If we have absolutely no idea what we're doing out there. And, yes, we made a bad throw a couple games ago. Yesterday, a couple of errors in the game. Lack of effort embarrasses me. If you get beat when you're giving it your shot, there's no guarantees in this game. So I'm actually I'm the opposite. I've never been prouder of a team that I've been with than the Oakland A's in 1988. And I'll talk about from the first day right through the 4th game of the World Series.
La Russa goes tonight. He was the loser against Hershiser in Game 2. But around the country, all eyes will be on this man. The Dodgers have their main man going, hoping he can pop the corks for them tonight. The first pitch coming up. Vin Scully and
5 of the 1988 World Series. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with Joe Garagiola. There's a lot of caring in town, and especially in the dressing rooms, as we finally get down to push against shove.
I think in the Dodger dressing room, Lasorda is being his motivator self, because it's one of those days of be yourself, guys. We played with the lineup that everybody thought we'd get beat last night, and we won, and we're going to win with this lineup. And I'm sure he's saying to Hershiser, just be yourself and we'll be all right.
Tommy Lasorda is a man who craves the spotlight, and he has been in the spotlight. Tony La Russa, the other way around. An interesting thing about the Oakland Athletics, when they clinched the division, instead of going out the next day and let's say like Lasorda visiting in the press box, they went out and racked up Frank Viola 12-3. It's also a ball club that beat Roger Clemens. So when you're talking about the Oakland A's and backs against the wall and all that kind of stuff, remember Tony La Russa, and more than just a workmanlike ball club, a club that won 104 games during the regular year.
If they play the way they played to get here, everybody's going to be all right.
Play is the magic word, so let's get to it. And the A's take the field. The ceremonial first ball throwing is already history, and history is the proper word to apply to it.
I thought it was great. Most valuable players in those great years here at Oakland, Gene Tennyson, Reggie Jackson, and Rollie Fingers. There they are, Rollie Fingers in the middle.
And just a reminder to the 1988 A's, there's some greatness around here. Here's the Dodger lineup. Steve Sachs was hit in all 4, followed by Franklin Stubbs. He'll be at first base. Mickey Hatcher is hit in all 4. He's in left field. Mike Marshall returns to the lineup in right. John Shelby in center. Mike Davis will be the designated hitter. Rick Dempsey will be the catcher. The word on Socia is, in absolute desperation, could he be used? Otherwise, no. Hamilton at third, and the shortstop, Alfredo Griffin. Right-hander Storm Davis, who went 3 1/3 innings in his matchup. So he comes back a 16-game winner during the regular year, trying to keep the A's afloat, trying to carry this series down the road to Los Angeles.
He has a slow, deliberate windup. Fastball with tail when it's down, and a curve is a big downer. And his defense that he'll have behind him, a couple changes by LaRussa. Javier is in left field, Henderson in center field, Canseco in right field, and in the infield you see Phillips at second base, and the rest of it stays the same. Hasse is behind the plate. I would think he wants to get Javier and Phillips in there to get some base runners, and they haven't had 3 base hits in the same inning the whole series, which is a bit unusual.
Unusual to say the least for an Oakland A's team that has torn up the league. And Steve Sachs, Franklin Stubbs, and Mickey Hatcher.
Then in front of home plate, just watching batting practice, it seemed like when you hit down on that ball, it was taking that big hop. I don't know if it's harder than normal, but I'll tell you, you got to be alive for that.
So Sachs to lead it off, and a little chin music. Ball 1, 1-0. If you remember, in the Dave Stewart game, Sachs was hit by a pitch. So Storm Davis behind 2 balls and no strikes. Storm, born in Dallas, Texas. He'll be 27 years old the day after Christmas. In there, turn 1. Jerry Crawford of the National League behind the plate. Larry McCoy, Doug Harvey, Durwood Merrill, Darrell Cousins, and Bruce Fremming out on the foul line. Chopper to the right side. Phillips short hops nicely, throws him out.
The big hop that Phillips had to play on the short hop didn't get as high as you would think it would. It was a good play by Phillips. He has to short hop, but he can't get that big hop. That is the in-betweener, too. That was a good play. Certainly not a routine one.
We stress that there is nothing wrong with Glenn Hubbard. So Tony Phillips opening up at second base, and here is Franklin Stubbs. Off speed.
See if Lasorda is a prop, but he said Stubbs is going to hit one out of here tonight.
There's Glenn Hubbard sitting in the dugout. A strike to Stubbs, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Stubbs will be 28 years old tomorrow. Bill Russell will be 40 tomorrow. Breaking ball in there.
That's a big downer. Not only was it a big breaking curveball, he took something off, used it as a change of speed pitch.
So he'll give you a fastball, a cut fastball, a slider, and that big overhand curve. And that's promptly hooked into right field for a base hit. Canseco over to get it. Stubbs holding with a 1-out single, and that will bring up Mickey Hatcher. Mickey Hatcher has also hit in 4 straight. Hatcher in last night's game had a hit-and-run single to right field, and the very first thing Stubbs did was look over towards Lasorda. So we'll see if the Dodgers put a play on here at the outset. And Hatcher
wants another sign.
Yep, he's double-checking with Joe Malfitano.
Wants to stay away from that double play. He'll put the play on.
1 ball and no strikes.
Hatcher's been a ball player, Vin. It's been in the middle of everything, but then it gets lost with the heroics. I mean, he's made some great plays in the outfield, some big base hits. Last night, he was in the middle of a hit-and-run play. He has been a most valuable player for these Dodgers.
Off the rubber. Hatcher has not only hit in 4 straight, he's 9 out of 10 in postseason play. 1 ball and no strikes. And they're going to watch Stubbs.
You know, with all the backing out and looking at Amalfitano going through the signs, Hasse is constantly looking at his bench because he wants to get some help and see if those guys have picked up anything.
Not gone, fouled off. Stubbs, during the regular year, had a very good success ratio as a base runner. He was 11 out of 14. He's a big fella, but he runs well. So you have a pretty good combination of some speed at first and a contact hitter at the plate. 1-1.
He's looking at La Russa. There's the message.
Off the rubber. No manager likes to fall into a pattern. The pattern for Lasorda has been to play hit and run 2-1. The count here is 1-1. And there's a high drive into deep left field. Back goes Javier. Gone. Mickey Hatcher, a 2-run home run.
And that Dodger bench almost feeling like, well, that's enough. Look at them all waiting for Hatcher.
So Mickey Hatcher